Hello everyone, so welcome once again to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about why your sewing machine thread keeps breaking. So someone asked in the comment section, so I'm just going to lay it out and explain further or explain better in this video. So there are different reasons or so many reasons why your sewing machine thread will be breaking, where I'm just going to be laying out a few points or a few reasons. So the major reasons, but if after all these reasons I've displayed you're still experiencing the same thing, I'll suggest you take it to an engineer for them to look into it. It might be a more deeper issue, but I'm very sure all these reasons might be one of it and will solve the problem. So the first thing first, why your sewing machine might be breaking, your thread might be breaking would be your top thread isn't threaded correctly. So your top thread, I mean your threadings, the way it's supposed to be. You can see how this was properly laid. So you need to look at the manual to be sure that your the thread was placed correctly. This is a frequent issue, and even experienced sewists have trouble threading this machine correctly from time to time. It just happens that you miss a thread guide or a tension, so you have to check and know where you miss a step. So go through the manual and do exactly what is written on the manual and follow the same procedure. So this can be a reason why your thread is not breaking and your thread is breaking. So you need to check to be sure if you are if you thread it correctly. So just follow the manual and do that. Rethread your machine. If you aren't sure how to do it, look up your specific instruction for your sewing machine. It's important to familiarize yourself with the exact step on how to thread your sewing machine correctly, and make sure all the necessary components are in place before attempting to operate. Taking the time to check everything thoroughly can save you a lot of headache in the long run. So go through your sewing machine, your sewing manual, exactly what's the draw there, exactly the procedure. Follow the step-by-step procedure, or ask a professional to help you if you still don't get the manual procedure. So let's go into the next reason. So the next one will be thread tension is wrong. So you must adjust your thread tension as you work with different thread, stitches and fabric type. If your tension is too high, this will keep breaking. So losing your top thread tension if your sewing machine thread keeps breaking while you sew. So it's better to loosen it or make it not too high or not too tight. So the next step is your bobbin tension. If you have already rethread your machine and adjusted your upper thread tension, but still you have these challenges, it's time for you to look at the bobbin tension. So you know the industrial sewing machine tension is different, bobbin tension is different from the manual. So if you look at this closely, you see it has a spring inside. So that spring sometimes used to remove, or sometimes it will just shift or come higher or upward. So you use something like a pin to make sure that it's laying flat. So this can be one of the reasons why it's breaking. So another reason might be needle inserted incorrect. So you need to check and be sure that your needle is placed correctly. So the right way to place your needle is to make sure that the rough side is facing the left hand side. That's your left hand side when you sit facing your machine, while the smooth side is facing the right hand side. So that's the way I usually differentiate. So look closely at the shank. Notice that it is rounded with one flat side. Insert the needle with the flat side facing the back of the machine. Make sure to put it up in the machine as far as possible. Also, another reason might be the screw that is holding the needle. Maybe it's not well tight or is loose. So if it's not well tight and is loose, this will be breaking your needle. So the next reason might be your needle is damaged. Your sewing needle should be sharp, smooth and straight. Any variation from that and your thread keeps breaking. Even if your needle is installed correctly, use over time can wear it down and damage. So that under part I'm touching right now sometimes can go blunt. So, and when you sew with a blunt needle, this will be breaking the thread. So the best thing you do is, if you are experiencing frustration, thread breaking problem, check your needle to see if it is dull or blunt. I think this is the first step anyone should do. First thing first, you need to check your needle. Is this needle blunt? Is this straight? So if it is blunt, it's time for you to change. So another reason might be your bobbin thread is wound incorrectly. So as you can see from the video that I showed, this is the correct way your wood should look. You can see how smooth this one is. The first video I just showed, you can see how rough that's looking. So if you are sewing with that, definitely is going to lead to breakage. So anytime you work with wood thread, you want it to be wood evenly. As you can see this one I'm holding. You can see how evenly it's wood, looking nice and neat. So that's how it should be. So another reason might be a length problem. So I'm just going to unscrew my needle plates so I can clean up that area, because over time as you sew, your tiny bits of thread and dust collects over time under your needle plates, causing lengths to build up in your bobby case. If you don't clean out the lengths regularly, that leads to build up, which will eventually keep your hook from correctly forming stitches. As a result, will break. So I'm just going to loosen this up. Let me see how mine looks. I'm very sure it will be dirty, so it's important for you to make sure this part is always clean as you sew. Voila, as you can see the dirts already piled up, thread dirts underneath the plate. So this can also affect the the thread breaking. So best thing to do is to clean your machine regularly to remove dirt. Make sure to clean out the bobby case also, although it's more common in industrial machine, and also you can find these things in manual machine, not just industrial machine. Some sewing machine has a spring in the bobbin case that can make up the bobbin thread snag. So it's important for you to always remove this and make sure it's clean. You can see how mine is looking very dirty, so I'm just going to use a fabric to clean this up and make sure it's neat and nice before fixing my needle plates back. So another reason is using different thread type for your top thread and the bobby thread. So if you are using if the thread aren't the same thickness or the same type, then it will throw off the tension and cause your thread to break. If the bobby case thread is too thick or the top thread is too thin, so there are two different thread you are using here, is going to lead to breakage. So you have to make sure you are using the same type of thread, the same cotton thread or silk or polyester thread. They should be the same. Top thread should basically be comparable in thickness to bobby thread, so both should be the same thing. Too much of a difference can cause problem with tension. So if you are having two different threads, it's going to lead to tension, which will lead to breakage. So you have to make sure that you are using the same thread. Choose thread for both the top thread and the bobby thread of the equivalent weights with an equivalent fiber content that can be suited for your project and fabric you are sewing. Another reason might be you're not placing your bobbin correctly. So industrial machine and the manual machine are two different type of machine. So if you are using the manual machine to fix your industrial machine, then you'll be having issues because there are two different type of bobbin. So know the right way to fix it. If you're not fixing it correctly, then you'll be having issues when sewing. So I'm not really sure if this is clear, but I'm just showing you how to fix it. So this is a video of how to fix it to the machine. You can see how it's looking, and if you're not doing it correctly, this can lead to breakage. So I'm just going to say remove it. So sometimes people make mistake of doing the manual way to an industrial way. There are two different types of bobby case, so you need to be sure you're doing the right thing. So just look closely as I fixed it. So this is how it's going to be looking. Then you open it up like so and insert it to the down part like so. So this is the right way to fix that. So if you're not doing this correctly like this can also lead to the thread breaking. So another reason might be damaged needle plates. So I'm just going to unscrew mine to check if it's damaged, to be sure. So a damaged needle plate will be having a hole in between, sorry, a straight line in between, which means the hole will be divided into two. So I'm going to show you the hole that the needle passes through. So if that hole is divided into two, this will be breaking your thread. You want a smooth, clean surface for your needle to slide as it goes up and down through the hole in the middle plate. If it's been scratched or damaged, that blow will cut your thread. So what you should do is, if you suspect this is your problem, you will need to check your needle plates for blow. If you find a rough spot, it's time to buy a new one. So if that needle parts, that whole part I'm just touching right now, if there is a straight line or a cut there, that means your needle plate is damaged, so you need to change it. So if you are still experiencing same thing after doing everything that I listed above, I'll suggest you take it to an engineer to help you look into it. So I hope this was able to solve your problem. So thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next tutorial. So take care guys, and bye.